What's up, guys? Cameron Fous here with FousAlerts.com. It is April 20th, Wednesday, 2016. Gonna take a look at some of these stocks and how I made about a little over $1,700 today in under an hour. So there's a strategy that I trade called the Fous 4, which is predominantly a long strategy. Lately, though, we've been taking advantage of a lot of short trading opportunities, which is kind of funny because you look at stocks like this, UNXL. I've shorted this several times for some good profits. You look at the Dow. You look at the Dow. There we go. And we see this huge rally that we just had since about mid-February, but I've been shorting for the majority of this entire rally to the upside and still making money. So we are coming out with a third DVD, Fous 4 X3, that will be all about shorting stocks. But today, I'm just going to give you guys a little video lesson about how I made this amount of money in under an hour. So first up was UNXL. Basically, what I was looking for on this trade was looking for a short here. It gapped open this morning. If we look over here to the opening price, this thing gapped open. We opened up at about 211. So I was watching this pre-market. We were in the chat room, both me and Mike and Robert, saying, check out UNXL. We had been looking at this for a short for the last couple of days. Mike actually shorted this yesterday on the open and got caught this nice little dip here. You can see that extended candle to the downside. It did the same exact thing today, but you can take advantage of that short at the open. And that's what Mike did yesterday, and that's what both of us did this morning. Basically, I was waiting for this thing to get over $2 per share. I like to see stocks that make a big run over a whole number and then fail back down over that whole number. I call it the over-under short, basically indicating it went over and then back under a whole number, which is typically an area of resistance. If you look at the previous high from this last rally here, which was at about 216, so we opened up at 211, had a high of 214 there, so that was definitely an indication, okay, we're spiking up to this resistance line. This is probably a good time for a potential short to get in on the over-under and hope to see this crack below $2. And that's exactly what happened. I was hoping for more. I was hoping to see a big red day instead of a 21% move like we see here today. But we still took advantage of the short side and made about $800 in a very short amount of time. So basically, I got short here. I tried to go short 211. I actually didn't get filled until about 207 right here. From there, I reshorted another 5,000 shares. We took advantage of this spike down to the downside and covered in the 190s. You can see, from 211 down to 192, 10,000 shares, that's 20-cent move to take advantage of. I got out for a nice little profit. Mike covered down there as well. I got reshort right about here. I was hoping to see this come back up to the downside, retest the VWAP, hopefully see a failed push back over 2 and come back down and go back into the red territory. So I covered right here, very small loss, so it was close to break even on that second trade. And you can see this thing actually broke out of an F1 potential pattern here, and actually, it had a nice little run there. And then I got reshort here on the failed breakout of high day. I got short again at 216 and then covered back down here at about 205 for another hot trade on the short side on UNXL. From there, this thing kind of chopped around, and this is actually up to 244. But that was two great looking shorts, even though this stock was up 21% today. So what I was looking for on that second short, a lot of the times, if you see a stock break out highs a day like this, what we call this is an F1 or F2, F3 pattern. You learn about those in the Fous 4 Part 2 DVD. They're basically flag breakout patterns that you can trade to the upside. But if they only have a quick spike over that high day, especially when we're looking at the previous resistance here at 216, that definitely had an indication of, okay, it might be failing this resistance level after a short spike to the upside. So I got short at 216 and rode that down for another nice little profit. It was on a small position, so I didn't get a huge gain there, but made up for that tiny loss that I had when this thing spiked up again on me here on the short side. So that was the UNXL trade. An awesome move both times on the short side, and now this thing is up even higher. So I'm still looking for this short. I'm not even looking at this thing as a long, even though this thing has made an awesome run here ever since we initially called this down here at about 80 cents. It was on the watch list again for another buy breakout watch at about 116, and this thing has just absolutely ripped ever since then. Now we're at 240 after hours. So I'm still watching short UNXL, but that was a great trade example on the short side to take advantage of, just, you know, by being able to identify chart patterns near resistance levels, as well as understanding intraday movements on stocks. Another one was GPL. This was one to the long side, or not GPL. We'll talk about GPL in a second. We'll talk about a long stock that we went here. This is EBIO. This thing has been a crazy stock the last week or so. I actually put this back on the watch list 2 days ago when we had this kind of pullback right here, this big red day. I put it back on the watch list saying, watch for the bounce here. Definitely something that we should be potentially trading. You know, it's a penny stock. I don't like trading stocks that are this low in price. I typically like to only play dollar rolls, meaning stocks that are just breaking out over $1. But EBIO definitely had a lot of volatility here, made a huge run the last 2 days. And this morning, this actually broke out over an F1 breakout pattern. And that's what we saw here. It did close negative it had a negative open, meaning it opened below yesterday's close here, and then went red to green, which is a bullish indicator, and then also formed up this secondary flag pattern right here at 79 cents. So I was watching this. We were all watching this in the chat room, also live on Fous TV. For those of you guys don't know, we run a live broadcast at fousalerts.com every day of the week. We do it for free on Thursdays. Check out fousalerts.com/FousTV to come check us out every Thursday. We're actually doing it live tomorrow. Today is Wednesday, so you can come trade with us live tomorrow on Fous TV and watch the whole shebang. So you get to see a live broadcast with our webcams, as well as a live screen just like this. So we call our trades out in real time while we're broadcasting in the mornings. But so this stock right here, I got long 15,000 shares, I believe. What I get here? Let me double check. EBIO, 79 cents I got long here for 15,000 shares, and covered for a quick scalp out here. 79 cents, hit that breakout, 15,000 shares. I got out at 85 cents. From there, this thing ripped a whole another 10 cents. So I could have made an additional $1,000 potentially if I would have held on to the stock. But, with these little penny stocks, you really never know what's going to happen. But I took advantage of a very, very short-term opportunity. Alert in chat, several other members made, $400 to $700 as well on EBIO in a short amount of time. I came out on top, within about 5 minutes of $900 on this trade for EBIO. And that's what's possible when you understand these breakout patterns that I teach you in the Fous 4 DVDs. And that's what we did exactly here on EBIO. After that, or before this actually, I screwed up the Apple trade. A lot of people misconceive or conceptualize what we do at fousalerts.com. We've kind of been pinned with penny stock traders. I don't really trade penny stocks. We just traded EBIO, but I trade everything, and I only trade stocks that trade on the major exchanges. I don't touch OTCs, anything 0.002 cents, pump and dumps. I trade real companies on the major exchanges that are not manipulated by, pump and dump scams or anything. And I'll trade Apple, I'll trade Amazon, Facebook, Netflix, anything that has a pattern that I like. So it's, I'll trade anything on the market that I can make money on. So we were trading Apple today in addition to EBIO. There's a lot of diversification, and we're not one-trick ponies. Unfortunately, I didn't come out on top with the Apple trade, but it was a great opportunity that I identified here on Apple. Unfortunately, I just barely mistimed this. We did close red on the day. This thing had a 3-day big drop to the downside. I was looking for a red to green move. A red to green move is basically a stock you can see here indicated by this yellow hash mark. That means the closing price of the previous day. So a red to green move means a stock that breaks out above or opens below the previous day's close and breaks out above that mark during the current day's session. So I got long here at 106.50, 1,000 shares, hoping to see this rip to the upside, take about $1 out of the trade and make about $1,000. Unfortunately, we got that quick spike to the upside. We basically hit resistance on the 13 EMA, the VWAP. We started coming back down here. We broke lows a day, and this is where I stopped out. You may be looking at this. Why the hell did you stop out right here? This thing came in all the way back up and ripped extremely high here. I could have made a lot of money. I just went all the way to 107.50. But the only way to lose money in the stock market is to get into these losing positions and allow them to grow. I don't like to allow my losing positions to grow. I took a $300 loss on Apple, and or 275 to be exact, and called it quits on that trade. I didn't come back in. When you're looking at the general market as well, look at this thing. We've had the most massive rally I've seen in quite some time. It's actually ludicrous. I hate watching this thing go up every day. But, we're back at 18,000. The market, as we saw here, was going red to green and then start dipping back down to the downside. And we're definitely due for some kind of pullback after this rally. So I wasn't going to sit there and, hope and pray that Apple comes back up. Unfortunately, the market did rally along with Apple, but I cut my loss short and got out of that trade so I didn't eat up my entire profit on EBIO. So, trading is hit or miss. You have to manage risk. That's all it really is. Trading is, 50% stock picking, 50% managing the risk of those stock picks. So it comes hand in hand. It's not all about picking the right winners. My win ratio is literally only 50%. I'm just really well at managing risk and not allowing any losses to get too great to really have any downside on my account. So my win of EBIO in my long account was $900. My loss in Apple was $275. So I came out, about $600 plus on this trade, or on these two trades that are in my long account. I also have a short account, which is what I traded UNXL, as well as EXK and GPL. Both of these were a little bit more difficult trades here that I had the concept right, and I made some money on both of them, but they had a little bit more choppy action today. EXK, this is actually an F1 that triggered at 394. We called this out. This had that nice rip up to 410. I got short here at 409, took advantage of this dip here, locked into profit, made about $250 very, very quickly on this EXK. From there, this came all the way back up. This is a silver stock, so when you're trading commodity stocks, you also have to watch out for the ETFs or commodities that follow that. So this is SLV. Silver, I was watching this stock today. We can see that this thing's made a huge run on the daily chart over the past several weeks. So I was hoping to see silver pull back today. It did. It just didn't do it until the last hour of the day. And I typically only trade the first hour or two of the market, and that's what happened here. I took advantage of this dip, and then all of a sudden SLV ripped to the upside, broke highs of the day, and then it's kind of chopped around the highs of the day until it finally collapsed into the close. And that's the same thing that EXK did. This basically chopped around highs of the day for the most of the session, and then if I would have been, still short, unfortunately I wasn't just going to sit around all day and watch this thing, and this thing collapsed in the close. Same with GPL. We got short at 161 right here, and this thing dipped all the way to 150. I covered half position at 154, and then ended up covering the second half at about 163 for break even, or 161-ish for break even. So I didn't make a whole lot on that trade because I only covered half, and then in the close, as you saw, silver dip. GPL also dipped here. But basically, end of story here on these stocks. I came out on top for about $1,700. You can see my realized gain in my long account, Speed Trader Pro, $693, and my short account, Speed Trader Algo, which is also actually Speed Trader Pro. This is speedtrader.com and speedtraderpro.com. Came out on top just over $1,000. So about $1,700 today in under an hour, and then I was done today. Went to lunch on the beach and had a great rest of the day. So that's really what's possible with day trading. A lot of people think that you have to sit around all day. Obviously, I could have made a lot more money if I would have timed this perfectly on this dip on GPL short, because that's what I was going for, as well as on EXK. I wanted short EXK up here at 409, and now this is 364 after hours. So I could have made, several more $1,000s on these trades, but it was a little bit difficult to time that perfectly on the end of the day, and I don't like to work all day. I like to work for about an hour day trading, and that's what's possible with the Fous trading strategy. Check us out at fousalerts.com and come trade with us live.